Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Committee on Public Services. Madam Clerk.
Commissioner Kenlock,
Present.
Commissioner Hattis,
Present.
Commissioner Baydoun,
Here.
Commissioner Palomero.
Here.
Chairman Markey,
Here.
you have a quorum present.
Thank you, and you can use your tablets as well. And I'm assuming this will be for voting too. Next item,
B, Chairwoman's remarks.
I have none. Oh, except this is Commissioner Hayes's last meeting before he leaves on the Committee of Public Services, and we're going to miss you very much. You can just come in and visit us and sit at the table. Yeah, we're gonna. Yeah, we're gonna miss you, Al. So hopefully we all keep in touch together. Yeah. Yes. Okay, Madam Clerk, next item.
C, approve the November 26, 2024 meeting minutes.
All right, we have an approval and support. Any changes, comments? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
And you can vote on your tablet.
Motion carried.
All right, next item.
D, unfinished business. There is none listed.
Next item.
Item 1, under new business, requesting commission approval of an intergovernmental agreement with the city of Detroit for improvements to Algonquin, Goth, Boyd, Chandler, Farwell, High, 7 Mile, Appleton, and Cross Parks.
Okay, this is the commissioner's park millage money, and these are the parks that they are doing improvements on. Almost $383,000. Any? Let's do it at the end. Yeah, yeah. And then you can tell me which one you want to be the maker of the motion. Okay. Any questions on this? All right, next item.
Item 2, requesting commission approval of a contract with the Michigan Department of Transportation for improvements along Merriman Road from Van Born Road to Michigan Avenue in the cities of Wayne and Westland.
Okay, do you have questions on this? Okay. And this is over $3 million project, Act 51 money. So good news for that area. Next item.
Item 3, requesting commission approval of Amendment 1 to an intergovernmental agreement with the Taylor Tax Increment Finance Authority for the Eureka Road Corridor Improvement Project from Telegraph Road to Allen Road.
Okay, is someone here on this just to give us a recap of what's gone on in the past and what's going to come on here? Good morning.
Good morning, Sue Hammoud, Deputy Corporation Counsel. This is an agreement that the county entered into. It was also part of a settlement agreement with the city of Taylor. They are to complete a project along Eureka Road between Telegraph and Allen Road. The project was supposed to be completed November 15th of 2024. In June of 22, yes, we've been negotiating for that long.
Yeah.
In June of 22, Taylor approached us and said that they needed to extend the term of the agreement because during COVID, they had difficulties with getting the permitting. As recently as this past summer, they were still having issues with getting permitting from Eagle. So the delays are in no way the county's fault or Taylor's fault. So we ultimately, after going back and forth, like I said, for about 2 years, we finally agreed to a 2-year extension of the term and an automatic 3rd-year renewal, provided that at least 50% of the county's funds have been expended.
Okay.
So the purpose of the 3rd year is we want to make sure that there is some progress.
So when a couple of years ago, when this was settled, was it still for about 17 million?
The amount is correct.
Okay,
It's 8.5 million from both sides.
from both sides.
Correct.
But how about the expenses of all this in the future? I mean, is this going to be, because this has not started, right?
Correct.
So is it still going to be done for $17 million?
Yes.
Okay.
So the county is only responsible for its 8.5. Anything over the $17 million would be Taylor's.
Oh, it will be. Okay.
Yes.
Because I can't imagine the prices stayed the same
So
over a couple of years.
that's clear in the agreement that
Okay.
anything over the 17, any costs or expenses over the 17 million are Taylor's.
Okay.
expense.
All right. Any questions on this? Okay, thanks, Sue. All right, next item.
Moving to item 4 on the addenda. Requesting commission approval of Amendment 3 to a 3-month professional services contract with 2 one-year options to renew with Shelby and Rack Systems for document storage related to the criminal justice complex at the Vigliotti Building.
All right, is someone here on this one? Good morning, thank you. So tell us about this.
Microphone's not on.
Is it on now? Oh,
Yes.
sorry, thank you. This contract just needs to be extended. The work was not able to be completed prior to the original expiration date. So work has been stopped until the contract can be extended so that that work can be completed.
Okay, and what kind of work was this?
They're adding shelving to the Vigliotti building
Okay.
for the county clerk's
All his
Files.
Stuff
files.
that
Yep.
she has to keep for years.
Yes, yes, in years. So we're adding about roughly room for 27,000 boxes
Oh,
of files.
okay. All right. Any questions on this? Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
All right, next item, Madam Clerk.
That's the
I'm
last item.
sorry. We only have one addenda, so we do need a vote,
We have a motion by Commissioner Hattis and a support by Commissioner Kenlock.
okay? And you can all vote on your tablets.
Motion carried.
Okay, thank you. Next item.
Moving back to the agenda, F, such other matters as may be properly submitted before the committee.
I've heard of none. Next item. Oh, Michelle. Yes, we do have one.
Good morning, everybody. Sorry for my tardiness and not informing you before the meeting. I was across the street. Cass Tech won the state championship and my nephew plays, so I had to take some pictures before I get cussed out by my family. Thank you, thank you.
The championship in
The state championship.
what? Oh, in football.
Football. Oh, I'm sorry,
Oh.
in football, yes. Yes, football.
Yeah, yeah. Is there anything else? Yeah.
Exactly. This time of year, no, nothing else.
Yeah, well, congratulations.
Thank you.
As a Fortson graduate, it pains me to hear this, because they always beat Fortson.
Sorry about that. There are 2 items that DPS is requesting immediate consideration on for the, okay. Didn't know if I was gonna get in trouble. For a full board on the 19th. One is with Waste Management. They will be our new vendor that will do the services for our dumpster rental and trash removal for DPS, the Sheriff's Office, and CJC. I've worked tirelessly to get this contract to commission, and commission received it December 5th. I've worked almost a whole year to get this moved forward. There were 3, it went out to bid for 3 different times. It was various changes with us moving into the CJC, with the different locations being closed, that we had to put this out several different times. There was a, what is it called? When a protest from the previous our current vendor with Republic. So there were some issues, and I finally was able to get it to you guys on the 5th. Our current contract ends with Republic December 29th. So I'm trying to get this on so that we won't have any trash or anything not being picked up, even though we're on break. You know, roads and the jails and everything still will be working. So I want to have this in place prior to the new year. There's also one other contract, Pierce Coney. I might be saying it wrong. I have Elizabeth Barrera on Zoom. That contract is a lease for 3600 Commerce Court. That's where ESD and I believe seniors are located in that building. Their lease ends at the end of December. So we're just trying to get this approved before the lease ends.
So, okay, so I'm sorry, I was talking
Yes.
to the clerk while you were discussing the first one. Second one, what's ESD?
It's a lease agreement with, I might be saying this wrong, Pierce Coney. It's PERSICOICONI. That's a lease agreement. Their lease ends at the end of December.
Okay, what is ESD?
Oh, I'm sorry, Environmental Services
Oh,
Department.
got it. Okay, all right. Okay, so I'm sorry to ask you to repeat the first one because I was talking to
Mhm.
Pam. And before you even talk, they are trying to get on. We're going to take a 5-minute break after.
They're trying to get paired.
They're trying to get on one of the items you wanted, but it's not one of the two you're talking about.
Yes, that's a third one. However, it's tied into DPS because we're the lead contract, the lead
Okay.
manager of the contract. It's with Pyrotech or Pyrotech.
Okay, that's
a
okay.
security.
She said they're going to try and get it on. I don't know if they're going to be able to, but will you just recap what you said about the first one? Because I don't know if you're going to be able to put, especially if we're putting on this one that they're working on right at this minute. I don't know if we're going to be able to do that right now, and it might have to be for full board, the ones you're asking about.
Yeah, I was trying to request
They're trying to
to see
talk
if
to
they
the
can get on
chair.
full board.
Okay, so
Those
just
two.
recap real briefly the very first one, because I didn't even hear anything.
No worries. We have the first one I was talking about is for our dumpster rental and trash removal. Our current contract with Republic ends December 29th.
Okay.
And the new vendor, Waste Management, will be our new vendor upon your approval. I'm just trying to establish their contract before the 29th because this contract is a master contract between DPS, the Sheriff's Office, and CJC. Even though we're on break during that time, all those facilities continue to work. And I don't want to have have any trash or dumpsters, in place while we're on
The
break.
holiday.
Yes.
So what is that contract for? How much money? The waste-
1.3 million,
Okay,
and that is for a 3-year term. And that is to facilitate, like I said, the CJC, the Sheriff's Office, and DPS. And DPS, that includes roads, parks, engineering. And I think that's it.
okay.
Roads, parks, engineering.
Okay, so I think Pam is talking to the chair now to
Mhm.
see what to do. If she'll agree to walking that on at full board.
Yes.
Okay, so can we take a 5-minute break while we wait to see if they can walk on one item from DPS?
Can we ask questions about this item?
Um,
Or not yet?
go ahead, yeah, go ahead. Okay, we'll reset in 1 second.
So,
Okay.
Michelle, the existing contract right now is with Republic. And how long have we been with Republic? It's
I
a
want to
3-year
say
contract,
18,
years?
no, 2018, we
Oh,
were with
2018.
Republic.
And have we had any issues is that why we're changing? We had issues with them?
No, we put it out to bid and Waste Management came in as the lowest bidder.
Oh, okay.
And I think it was around $3,000 or something dollars. That's why they protested it at first. I don't know the specifics. That would be a procurement issue, they would know what the protest was. But I believe the amount was around $3,000 difference.
Did we ever have a contract with Waste Management before?
Not to my knowledge,
Okay.
but did not know who was prior to 2018.
And I'm not, listen, I'm not downgrading any company,
Mhm.
or, like Waste Management or Republic. I know from other cities, they had issues with some of these trash pickup,
Oh, no, Republic's worked wonderful. They've been great to us, over these years, especially with, adding on, because we did have the CJC added on to the contract. We've had other items added on, services. They've informed us during holidays that the services will be delayed, emails sent out, they've been they've been a good company to us.
Okay.
Well, hopefully procurement will be at that meeting too, if you're able to walk this on and, because people might have some questions about that then. Okay, so what am I saying now?
Recess.
Recess to call it, Chair.
Okay. Okay.
This is on a different item.
Yeah,
This is
a different
on
item.
Pyrotech, I think? Yes.
This end of the year stuff, All right, so we can take a few minutes to glance at this.
Legal does have an analysis spreadsheet. It should be on the way down.
Okay, thanks.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
while we're reviewing this, may I ask on that same topic? Because, thank you. So the county was pleased with Republic Services.
Mhm.
They protested upon a $1.3 million bid being $3,000, which is pretty negligible as an amount of money, that they said that because we're 3,000, view us in light of great service and not $3,000. Is that what was the essence of their protest?
I do not have that information. I would have to come back to you. I can call during the recess and find out and get back to you with the,
I mean, low bid is low bid, I get it, but for a large bid, kind of north of $1 million, and $3,000 is a small amount for someone who has done good work. That's all.
Precisely my point too.
Yeah,
The fiscal responsibility doesn't discriminate against one penny or $1 million.
yeah.
The different, it's lower bet, it's a lower bet. And we as elected officials, how much we get scrutinized sometime for have value the service over a small amount. So it's a very difficult situation
Yeah.
sometime. And we have to walk thin line on it unless we find a reason sometime that overshadowed in $3,000.
No, I agree with
Well,
you.
hopefully there's things built into the contract that if we've never worked with a company before, that protect us and things down the road, if
So-
something happens.
So let me ask you, so the company that we've been working with, having a good relationship, is not being recommended for a renewal? A new company is being recommended?
yes,
And the reason why, because they were,
The lowest bidder.
yes.
they were the lowest bidder, and the company we previously worked with was $3,000 more.
Annually, so that would have been 9,000 total.
$9,000 total, total. The lowest bid, what I've always was told, the lowest bid is not always necessarily the best bid. Also taking into account the history and relationship associated with the current contractor. Those are certain, I definitely would like to talk to procurement to ask some more questions,
Okay, I can try to get them on to discuss this while we are on recess or.
Fair.
Okay. Okay. Be-
And then after we get the legal analysis. Okay, we will go back into the Committee on Public Services meeting. And Michelle is back with us, and there's some questions on something on the contract, the garbage contract that maybe walked on at the full board. So thank you for coming down. Arthur, will you introduce yourself? And some of the commissioners have some preliminary questions about this.
Arthur Walker, Procurement Director, Management Budget Department.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner, whoever wants to go first, Kinlock?
So I understand that that contract isn't before us right now, but the waste management contract, can you, and the protest, I believe that she had mentioned, could you just, I guess, explain exactly what's going on?
I just want to
Not
clarify. it wasn't-
inquiry,
Yeah, it was
the inquiry,
inquiry.
whatever the communication or
So there were, of course, multiple bidders for the contract, and Republic, I believe, reviewed the bid tabulation that we provide publicly after bids are open, and noted that one of Waste Management's line items appeared low, and they inquired to make sure that the bid was accurate. We did in turn contact Waste Management to verify that the pricing they provided was correct before we proceeded with the recommendation for.
So we have a history with Republic. Okay, we have an
Yes.
existing history, right, Republic. Well, my question is that there were some challenges and there's a history as it relates to waste management in this area, in this region. And my question is, as I would think and imagine that they're building back their business from those previous issues, that often, that maybe they submitted a bid or submitted a proposal that maybe have been low in certain areas in order to ensure that they got the recommended, was awarded the contract. So my question is, so it was $3,000 less, I think you mentioned $3,000 less over each year for the contract. And I'm asking, if you had a great history there, do you have the discretion with the way that you issued the bid? Did you have the discretion to, because the lowest bid is not always the highest bid. Do you have the discretion, it's not always the best bid? Did you have the discretion in this instance, the way that you submitted it, to be able to make that, take that into consideration, the history and some other factors to allow you to award a recommendation to a Republic?
So this was issued as a invitation to bid, and our solicitations and the ordinance requires in those situations that we award to the lowest responsible bidder, which means for us that we look at the price and then look at the bidder to make sure that they've both responsive, meaning that they've provided us a bid that meets what we're asking for, and that they're responsible, meaning they have the capabilities, financial and otherwise, to complete the services. If those things are true, we award to the lowest price bidder, and it's what is the fairest way to make sure that we provide opportunities to all vendors who bid, and we get the best value for the services for the county.
Okay, so let me just say this. 3,000, they already have an existing contract with us. They adjusted, I guess, I don't know, because we don't have copies of the bid. One of the line items was, I guess, $3,000 more. They have the history, they have the familiarity and the understanding of the quality of what's necessary to execute this contract in apparently a suitable fashion, because we were just told that they, gave good service to the county. So what I'm asking is, what are some of the other options that could have been made available to procurement to let this contract out, or these services out, the specific service out, that would allow broader discretion to take other factors into consideration? Because what you're saying, the way that it went out, you strictly have to go based upon the lowest bid. Are there any other options within the procurement ordinance that would allow for some level of, I guess, grading or things that could be taken into consideration?
No, although it is the lowest bid, as I mentioned, it is the lowest bid, meeting our requirements and qualifications. And when we have straightforward services, an invitation to bid is the standard method of issuing solicitations. So we do request for proposals for professional services and things where there are other ways of providing the services, but in a really direct, straightforward straightforward services. The invitation to bid is the standard method. It's what the county does. It's what public procurement professionals do.
I serve in other capacities and other factors are taken into consideration. Serve on the Water Commission. And what I'm about to say is I hope not to see a change order for $3,000, $2,000, $1,000 from this, if the commission decided to move this forward. Definitely do not expect to see a change order, because then I would, thank you, yeah.
Commissioner Baydun.
Thank you. Mr. Walker, we're just asking these questions because I don't have any, preference for Waste Management or Republic, as long as the residents of Wayne County are being served properly and we don't have any issue. I can speak to you as a resident in the city of Dearborn. In other cities, they've had issues with the trash pickup from different companies. I'm not going to pick on Waste Management. I mean, other companies too. But as my colleague Commissioner Kinlock says, the lowest bidder is not necessarily the best company to deal with in many cases. In the event we go with Waste Management, what are the escape clause legally? How can we get out of the contract if they don't perform certain tasks? If they don't pick trash for 2 weeks, for example, something happens. It did happen in other cities where the trash was sitting like for almost 30 days. And some, I'm not pointing the finger at Waste Management. I'm just thinking out loud here with you. Do we have a legal mechanism where we can cancel the contract and go with someone else? We're just talking out loud and trying to figure out what's the best for the residents of Wayne County.
Yes, all of our contracts do have a clause for termination for default. If the contractor does not live up to the terms of the contract, we always have the right to terminate those services.
Okay. Thank you.
I have a question. In a contract like that, and we will see all this when it's given to us. We determine if someone doesn't, it doesn't have to be like something happens and then we reprimand them, then we give them another trial period, that kind of thing, or we can just cut a contract if they're not performing.
Generally, if there are issues, you do speak to the contractor, try to resolve those issues. Those are standard things that happen with any contract. We will always sort of evaluate the level of the issue, right? If it's a small thing, we will work with the contractor to see if they will improve. If there is some major thing that happens, we had a right to terminate immediately.
Commissioner Palomaro.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Do you recall if there were any other bidders other than these two?
Yes, there was Detroit Disposal and Recycling. There were 3 bids that were received. So Detroit Disposal and Recycling LLC, Republic, and Waste Management of Michigan.
And do you have their numbers? Were they substantially higher or? So
Waste Management, for an annual fee was $440,349.40. Republic was $443,764. And Detroit Disposal was $476,799.64.
Okay, yeah, thank you.
Okay. Any other questions?
Just one more
Yeah, go
question. I
ahead.
asked the commission staff, I don't know if Mr. Walker would know this. Did the county ever have any contract with Waste Management before? maybe before the restructuring, because I understand waste management has been restructured, right, recently?
You know, I'm
Did I
not,
hear that
I'm not
correctly,
familiar
Joe?
with their previous contract.
All I know is about 18 and that's
Mm.
how we've had Republic since 18.
No, I'm not certain.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. And again, if this is able to get on to full board, you may want to both be there. I know you will be, Michelle, but I'm sure other commissioners will have questions as well, but we'll get that packet beforehand. Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. Okay, so Michelle, back to I don't know who was you had someone coming in? Speaking at, so Madam Clerk, could you read this into the record?
The Department of Public Services, through its Roads Division, is requesting approval of a second amendment to a professional services agreement between the Charter County of Wayne and Pyrotech Security Systems, Inc. for security guard services to add $300,000 for a total contract amount of $2,307,102.02. The term remains August 2nd, 2022 through August 1st, 2025.
Okay, thank you for coming down. Please introduce yourself and tell us
Nellie-
about this.
Nellie Lee, Wayne County Corporation Counsel's Office. Good morning, Commissioners.
Good morning. Is your
Afternoon.
mic on?
It was just a little too tall for me.
Okay,
This is Amendment 2 to the contract. The initial contract was through DPS to provide patrolling services to the DPS yards. Amendment 1 and now Amendment 2 add patrolling services to the CJC. Once the complex or the Criminal Justice Center was turned over to the county, there have been patrolling services since. It's 24 hours a day, 2 security guards and 2 cars patrolling the perimeter of the CJC. They do not patrol the interior of the complex, though.
so this contract kept going until,
It started on March 18th, the day of the turnover, that the building was turned over to the
Okay.
county.
so they have performed services little over $65,000 without a new contract, right?
Well, the initial amount that was compensation that was added to Amendment 1 was about $300,000. That initial period of time was supposed to cover, we anticipated 7 months, but we did add funding, contingency funding to the contract. So they've been providing services for past the initial 7-month period, but funding has been available to them to continue these services.
Okay,
Because, I'm sorry,
oh, no, go ahead.
we anticipated, we anticipated that we did not know what to anticipate, I guess, as in whether 6 months would be, or 7 months would be enough. So that's why we added contingency funding to it in the event that these services needed to continue and the sheriff's office was not ready to take over those duties.
Okay, so are we comfortable with this as far as? It's because we just got this, so
Yes.
that's why I apologize. I'm trying to look at the legal analysis and good morning.
Good morning to this honorable body. Mary Parisian, Assistant Commission Counsel. Corporation Counsel's Office, as well as the department, has addressed all of our concerns.
Oh,
We're
okay.
comfortable with this item.
All right, great, thank you,
you.
because we have not been able to sit down and read this. Okay, great. Any questions on this? Okay, thank you.
Thank you. I want to thank the commissioners for hearing it and Commission Counsel for working with us this past week on this.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, they were working right up to the minute, so they're awesome. So thank you. So we can just vote on this then? All right, so let's take a vote.
We have a motion by Commissioner Kinlock and a support by Commissioner Hattis.
Okay, and you can vote on your tablet.
Motion carried.
Okay. All right, next item.
G, public comments.
Okay, anyone here in the room here that would like to address the Committee on Public Services? Okay, Madam Clerk, do we have any emails?
No emails have been received.
Anybody on Zoom?
No
Just
hands
see-
raised on Zoom.
Okay, and if you could unmute, if there are people, And anyone on the phone or Zoom can address the Committee on Public Services if they'd like. Okay, hearing none. Next item.
Adjournment.
Madam the Chair, for the adjournment, I want to thank you for your leadership.
Oh,
Public Service Committee. I really enjoy work with you and wish you great success to the future for the benefit of our people, especially road and bridges.
yeah, road bridges, yeah.
You know, you're doing a great job. Thank you for everything.
Well, thanks, Al, and you've been a great committee member, so, and this is an interest to everybody, right? Thank you. Okay, we are adjourned.